Mike writes, "Hey Colton, it looks like you were right." Oh, I'd love to hear that. You were right about our first Avengers Doomsday teaser trailer coming out in December with Avatar 3. I saw other YouTubers talking about the trailer description and what Doom is going to look like, and I would love to hear your thoughts on it. Thanks. Okay, so yeah, I have been meaning to take a little bit of a victory lap after calling a while ago that our first Doomsday teaser would indeed be coming with Avatar Fire and Ash. It's just too perfect of an opportunity for them not to do it. Avatar 3 is a Disney film. Doomsday's a Disney film. Avatar 3 is anticipated to make, I would guess, like $2 billion at least at the box office. That's if the previous installments are any indication. And there's of course the fact that December, this upcoming December, that is the 1 year out point for Avengers Doomsday. And with a movie on the scale of Doomsday, the marketing, it's just going to be absolutely insane. And it makes sense that your first teaser, kind of like with Force Awakens comes to mind. They released the first teaser for that a year out. It makes sense that they would drop it a year out. Now, for other films, smaller films, even smaller blockbusters, I'm a big advocate for wait before you start your marketing push. It's a waste of money to start your marketing push a year out. But for a film like Doomsday, it's just a little different because there's so much that goes into a movie like that and how you market that kind of movie on that scale. So we now have a potential description for the Doomsday teaser. There are reports that the individual who saw the trailer said that it's not finished, but that they were surprised by the amount of footage they showed of Dr. Doom in action. They also said that this is not a teaser trailer, implying that it's like a full-on trailer, so perhaps we are getting like a full-fledged trailer 1, not just like a less than a minute teaser. Now, Chris Gore, who, I'm not trying to throw any shade, but I'm hesitant to necessarily believe exactly what he's saying or the source that he's getting his reporting from. But he does say, quote, "You're going to get not just a glimpse of Doom, you're going to see Doom." And I will say I am very glad to hear that, because I've been screaming at the top of my lungs ever since Downey Doom was announced that, one, it's absolute lunacy to think that they would cast RDJ as Dr. Doom and keep him under the mask the entire time. Some people have actually floated that, and their argument is, oh, well, you know, Dr. Doom in the comics, he never takes his mask off. That's true, that he very rarely takes his mask off. You know when he does take his mask off, though? Secret Wars. What is Doomsday leading right into? Secret Wars. So I think the idea or the suggestion that he won't take his mask off at all in Avengers Doomsday is ridiculous. I do think it's possible that he doesn't take it off much. I think it's in fact likely that for Doomsday, he has the mask on most of the time. And then in Secret Wars is when he'll have it off a lot. But there have also been some who have suggested that they will not show Downey's face in the trailers either. Again, to that I just say bullshit. There is no way in hell that they bring back Downey to play Doom and pay him the money they're paying him to do it, and then just don't show him in the trailer, don't show his face, don't plaster his face on all of the posters and the trailer. I'm sorry, it's just, that's not going to happen. They are going to have Downey's face all throughout the marketing for this movie. I don't think they're going to pull the Spider-Man No Way Home where they, you know, didn't show Tobey Maguire, didn't show Andrew Garfield, wouldn't even acknowledge they were in it. The cat's out of the bag. We know Downey Doom is, you know, the lead really of this film, kind of like how Thanos was the lead of Infinity War. He's the draw. He is what they're going for. And what they're hoping gets a lot of asses back in seats for a Marvel film. So I just see no scenario where they don't plaster him all over the marketing for this. So I am glad to hear that this report from an individual who claims to have seen like a cut of the teaser, them saying that Downey Doom's all up in it. That's great to hear. Now, the report continues, quote, "The way the character was described in terms of Downey's interpretation is a classic Universal monster like the Phantom of the Opera. It's a tragic figure and a broken figure and part of it is his armor. Doom must have his armor because he has a broken body. He continued, quote, scarred. He went full universal monster with the interpretation. He needs the suit to actually function, end of quote. Yes, bitch. Yes, this is exactly what I've been calling for, what many of you have been calling for. Now, the Hot Mics host, Jeff Snyder, sorry, I'm reading my notes here, and John Roca, they compared Doctor Doom to Darth Vader and suggested that he will be a tragic figure, having lost his planet and the woman he loved. Wow. Okay, so there's a lot there. In the comics, we have seen a version of Victor where he is like very minutely scarred, like it's very minuscule, the scar on his face, but he's still super sensitive about it. But we've also seen versions where his face is just a total shit show and malformed, and there's a version where he doesn't have a nose. We've seen a version where like the mask, when he puts on the mask, it like melts to his face. It's grody, and I think that that's totally what we're getting here in Avengers Doomsday. I think that's what they're going to be going for with Doctor Doom. And then come Avengers Secret Wars, we're probably going to see him like without the mask most of the movie and with a healed face. The scarring will be gone, which is what we see in the Secret Wars comics. There was even in that Fantastic Four post-credit scene where little Franklin Richards seemed to be intrigued by Doom's face, and with Franklin having the ability to heal people, like he, resurrected his mother, maybe Franklin's attempting to heal Doom's face. So maybe we see that happen in Doomsday. Now, speaking of Sue and Franklin, we also got this TikTok from some people who work at the Russo brothers production office. And in the back, well, first let me talk about the TikTok. I love that TikTok. And I love how they had Iron Man and Doctor Doom and showing how we're the same but different, the dichotomy between these two characters. I asked my wife, like, what is this TikTok like about, like what's the theme of it, like the trend? And she basically explained to me that it's like sisters will do it, like they're sisters but they're different, like that kind of thing. um Maybe that's right, I don't know, I'm not the authority on TikTok, but to me that kind of reinforces the fact that yes, Tony and Doom, they're very much the same, but they're also very different. And we are going to get basically what I've been calling for. They're variants. I hope that they go the adoption route where we learn that Tony Stark, yes, he is a variant of Victor Von Doom who was adopted by the Starks. I think that would be the coolest way to do it. Anyway, so in that TikTok where they have the Iron Man mask and the Doctor Doom mask, anyway, in the background of this TikTok, we see RDJ's Doom outfit from the announcement video where at Comic-Con rather, where they announced him as Doctor Doom. And we also see the costumes for Sue and Franklin, and they're standing there almost like a little family. And again, like in Secret Wars, in the comics, there are, and I'm trying to remember, it's been so long since I've read Secret Wars, but there's basically a scenario where there's like an alternate reality, and we see Doom essentially take Sue as his wife and Franklin as his adopted son. So I think that's totally what we're seeing happening here, and why they have them standing together like that as a little family. I think that's going to be a key focus, perhaps, of Doomsday and Secret Wars. And maybe it is going to be Ben, Johnny, and Reed who are working with the Avengers and the X-Men to get Sue and Franklin back. And we could see Sue at Doom's side for a lot of the movie, maybe not necessarily because she wants to be, but because Doom has her son, and he basically says, look, I'd love to have you here with me to help keep Franklin calm, but if you try to interfere or fuck with my shit or fuck with my plan, I'll just, I'll get rid of you. You can go away. So you can stay and be with Franklin and don't get in my way. Or if you start to get in my way, you're out of here. And maybe Sue's like, well, I want to stay with my son. So that'll be interesting to see. In other news, there's a lot of Doctor Doom news, Doomsday news. We saw Marvel share this picture of Tony from Age of Ultron saying that when he wants a suit of armor around the world. And then there's this scene from the Fantastic Four that they put with it, where Sue says to Reed that he has baby-proofed the world. And I'm telling you all of this, guys, because this is exactly all of this news we're hearing, from the trailer to that Russo's office TikTok to this post from Marvel. This is exactly what I've been saying and wanting and claiming needed to be for this to be done right, and my faith that they would be going this route with it, because I think it's brilliant, but it's also just so obvious that this is how they need to handle it and do a true Doctor Doom while also having this Tony Stark connection. And they are doing everything that I hoped they would do. And the arguments I've been making for, no, it's not just a gimmick. No, it doesn't, take away from the character of Doctor Doom if you do it this way. And it seems to be the way they're doing it. So, many people shat on the idea of Downey playing Doom and Tony and Doom being variants, and how it would somehow lessen the comic accuracy and the backstory of Victor Von Doom and his character. But I just think that's total horseshit, because Victor Von Doom and the MCU's Tony Stark, they have so much in common. And I think Age of Ultron actually showed that a lot, with Tony's desire to protect the world, freedoms be damned. That is so Doctor Doom. And in a lot of ways, Reed Richards. So there's going to be such a cool dichotomy between Doom and Richards, like we expect from the comics, but also we're going to get to see this dichotomy between who we know as, Tony Stark, the MCU Tony Stark, and what his dichotomy with Reed Richards would be. Now, speaking of Tony and Doom, there's also the similarities between their attachment to their tech. Tony needed the arc reactor to stay alive, and Doom, if this reporting is true, he's going to need his suit to stay alive, kind of like Darth Vader. And this could mean that Doom perhaps had a similar incident as Tony with the shrapnel, going into his heart. Perhaps Doom had a similar situation that fucked up his face, or maybe we'll see a version of the character. Because let me back up a little. What I like in multiversal storytelling and stuff like that is how you can have two versions of a character go on different paths, but you see similar story beats happen, because it's just like the rhythm of the cosmos or whatever. So I like the idea of, even with Tony being a Victor Von Doom who was adopted and went his own path in life, I like the idea of them still just hitting like these cosmic rules of the road that is just kind of like in the DNA of their specific character. And so certain things, despite them being in different realities, these same things still happen from a vague, like, macro sense. So they could both experience like a situation that makes them reliant on their own tech, Tony and Doom. Or we could see a situation where Doom in his universe, just like Tony in the 616, is also put in a position where he gets the Infinity Stones and has to snap to save reality or whatever. Or maybe in that universe, he actually sought the stones. Like Doom is like, I want the stones because I am finally going to, I think I just spit everywhere, I'm sorry. I am finally going to bring forth the security that I've been looking to bring to this planet, and I need the Infinity Stones to do it. And so anyway, whatever that ends up being, when he snaps, it'd be so cool if we see him like get fused with his suit. Like the armor fuses with his body, the mask fuses with his face, and just fucks him up. And despite him surviving the snap, he is now reliant on his armor. He cannot be separated from his armor. He's brutally scarred by the whole ordeal, and in order to stay alive and function, he has to remain connected to his suit, and it just turns him into something else. And the possibilities with that are just endless. I love the idea of him being like deformed and like Darth Vader-esque. I've been saying that I really hope that what these two Avengers movies can do is, if they include a third Avengers film, either one between Doomsday and Secret Wars or one after Secret Wars, don't release any other movies in between. Just release Avengers, Avengers, Avengers. Doomsday, whatever, Secret Wars, or Doomsday, Secret Wars, whatever. Do a trilogy that you can only watch, that if you like, that you can enjoy even if you haven't seen any of the other stuff. Make something that can compete with the original Star Wars trilogy, the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Tell an Avengers trilogy. Something that the MCU has an issue with is being able to tell true trilogies. like such as with their individual characters. Like you can't watch the Thor trilogy or the Captain America trilogy without having to have seen other movies and to understand what's going on, because there's so much story that happens in between. With these Avengers movies, they could tell like a trilogy of stories and have them come out 1 year apart, each of them. It could be so good. So I want to hear your thoughts and theories on all of this reporting down in the comments below. It's got me really excited, and thank you so much for submitting that question. All right, next. Hey everybody, Colton here, and this is the mailbag style show where I take your questions about Marvel, Star Wars, DC, movies and streaming in general. Whatever you want to ask, send it into the email address AskColtonNow@gmail.com, link in the description below. And hey, maybe you'll see your question featured right here on the show.